Caught on camera, the wedding day betrayal. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. My camera zoomed in and caught the wrong hands touching behind Sophie's veil. I'm Aria, 27, a wedding videographer who labels batteries like a pharmacist and backs up footage in triplicate because love deserves clean audio and honest light. I don't sell drama. I capture vows, breath, and proof that people once meant it. Tonight, proof bit back. My A-cam on the tripod covered the aisle, my gimbal handled movement, and a tiny balcony GoPro, VenueCam 03, stared down at the mezzanine for ambience. When the organ swelled, a hand in a champagne cuff slid across a silk back I recognized. The frame trembled as I breathed. My stomach settled into that quiet place professionals go. Keep rolling, tag the timecode, secure the media. If I mishandled this, I could lose clients, friends, everything. Sophie is my friend from film school, the type who brings soup when you're broke. Daniel is her groom. Good with eyes, stingy with answers. I heard him once call what I do pressing record. I ignored it. I needed the job and wanted her day perfect. But the balcony angle didn't blink. Later, I would show the file name, GX010134. MP4, 17 hours 12 minutes and 9 seconds to 17 hours 12 minutes and 22 seconds, to an attorney in a room that smelled like paper and fear. Right now, the officiant said, if anyone has cause, and I focused on clean audio, steady skin tones, and not shaking. I set a marker, M1, balcony anomaly. The organ held a note like a scream stretched into silk. Lila, maid of honor, shifted, blocking my B-cam for a beat. My headset cracked with the DJ's test tone, and the venue manager texted, reminder, no raw deliverables. I smiled like a vendor and swallowed like a friend. Then the balcony camera blinked, and everything twisted in 13 seconds. I met Sophie in a freshman editing bay where time smelled like dust and burned coffee. She loved happy endings. I loved true ones. We both promised to tell real stories. Years later, she slid a deposit across my chipped table and whispered, I trust you, even if Daniel prefers someone bigger. The contract I sent included my standard lines. No raw footage release, creative control on edits, archival rights for safety. Daniel replied at 11:06 p.m. Add clause. No backstage audio. I declined, politely. He wrote back, you're just pressing record. I changed nothing. We negotiated a shot list, family formals, and a contingency for rain. The week of, another email arrived. No cameras in balcony, CC&G the venue manager. Sophie called fast. Ignore him, she said, laughing, but her laugh shook. He's nervous about his speech. I told her, nerves look good on film. She replied, so does forgiveness. The rehearsal felt smooth, until a guest I didn't know handled the seating chart, moving 2 people close to the mezzanine staircase. I flagged it as unusual. Planners don't let strangers move pins. It's fine, the stranger said. I'm family. When I asked his name for credits, he smirked. The morning of, a courier dropped a padded envelope at my studio labeled for Aria, final payment. Inside, cash instead of the agreed transfer, and a note, deliver highlights only. I texted Sophie. She didn't answer. My calendar reminder chirped, sync timecode, test backups, breathe. I breathed. Then the receptionist whispered, there's someone waiting with a privacy request. The privacy request wore a navy blazer and a smile that didn't involve teeth. I manage VIP privacy for the groom's family, he said, glancing at my gear. He tapped my GoPro case. Disable one tonight, just for the ceremony. I said I couldn't. He said, we'll cover any penalties. I repeated I couldn't. He leaned in. Then make sure the balcony stays decorative. I logged the conversation on my clipboard, names, time, the way his cologne tried too hard. At the venue, the seating had shifted again. 2 chairs near the stairs now faced the balcony doors. The florist, a woman with forearms like bridge cables, muttered, someone's paying cash to break the flow. In prep, I mic'd the officiant, Daniel, and Lila, then asked Sophie if she wanted a laugh. She said, no, I don't want my heartbeats recorded, smiling that wide smile with wet corners. A guest brushed past me and slipped an envelope to someone in a tux. The exchange happened like choreography, no eye contact, perfect timing. Don't miss the balcony, the florist whispered, as if voicing my notes aloud. I set the balcony GoPro to wide, locked the card in with gaffer tape, and noted the serial. SanDisk Extreme 256 gigabytes, S/N7AE3. Minutes later, a different SanDisk, same label, different scuffs, appeared atop my Pelican case. I hadn't put it there. I felt the itch of a future argument crawling up my neck. I tucked both cards deep. Then someone I trusted waved me over and said Daniel needed a favor. During toasts, audio caught more than applause. Daniel's mic, a tiny dip on his lapel, picked up a line he didn't intend for the room. "We're square after tonight," he murmured to someone off mic, a scratch of glass and suit fabric following. My groomsman block, Marcus, stepped into my frame as if obeying a cue, head tilted to mirror me, lens to lens, a wall made of manners. The venue manager sidled up. "For VIP privacy, we ask cameras avoid mezzanine exits," she said, eyes on my GoPro feed. "Who has the SD cards?" A different voice asked. "Navy blazer, no teeth." "We lock media at midnight," I said. He laughed softly. "Let's not need locks." The DJ's light rig washed Daniel and Sophie in flattering gold, while my B-cam lost focus because a hand, Marcus's, brushed my lens with a napkin. "Oops," he said. I marked the time. 20 hours, 41 minutes, and 13 seconds focus obstruction. Lila's toast followed, sweet, shaky, and brave. She thanked Daniel for making Sophie feel chosen. And I heard someone answer, barely, finally. Back in the hallway, a server delivered a new envelope from the family. Inside, a printed request on law firm letterhead, no raw audio. I filed it under wishful thinking and rechecked my chain of custody checklist. Then a guest lifted his glass and said aloud what the mic had already whispered into eternity. I was cut from the bridal green room like a splinter. "Vendors in the hall, please," the coordinator said, blocking the door with a clipboard broader than her patience. Inside, laughter rose and fell like surf. Lila stepped out, catching my eye. "Please don't ruin her day," she said. "If something awkward happened, let it die." I asked, "Are we talking awkward like bad lighting or awkward like legal?" She didn't answer. "Sophie's waited so long," she said, squeezing my arm hard enough to file under memorable pressure. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number, highlights by Sunday. No backups needed. Followed by a trashcan emoji. I exhaled and wrote myself a rule I already lived by. Back up everything twice before the cake. But when I reached my case, the latch sat wrong. Inside, my GoPro accessory pouch was open. On top, the scuffed SanDisk, now smeared with foundation. The new card I'd hidden was gone. I closed the case, clicked the lock, and walked straight to the venue's security office. "Can I mirror venue cam feeds after the reception?" I asked. The night manager, a man who believed in forms, slid a sign-up sheet to me. "If all parties sign," he said. I stared at the line labeled authorized by bride or legal proxy. Lila appeared in the doorway, breathing hard. "Sophie wants you for a night shot," she said, smiling too bright. I followed her back, memorizing hall cameras I'd asked to copy later. Then a familiar voice drifted from the balcony stairs, low and careless, as if the building itself wouldn't remember. I found the swapped card during bouquet toss prep. My backup rig, a small black SSD labeled Aria _R5 backup _A, showed a volume name I'd never use, Honeymoon. Someone had formatted a drive with humor and access. In the bouquet box, a cute wicker crate, my hand brushed a burner phone, screen dark, scuffed at the corners. A florist pin rested like a small silver weapon atop it, and a keycard sleeve from the hotel next door tucked underneath. I pulled my hand back fast, heart pounding like a metronome in a thunderstorm. I zipped the crate, took a quiet breath, and decided. I mirrored everything. Cameras fed into my recorder. The recorder wrote to Master A and Master B. I copied Master A to the SSD with the bad joke name and renamed it AR_proof01. I texted myself the times and serials. I logged the hotel keycard number and snapped a shot of the burner phone IMEI. Then I watched Daniel cross the room and shake hands with the navy blazer man, both glancing once at the balcony ladder. "Is that the guy managing privacy?" I asked a server. She shrugged. He tipped me to look the other way. My mouth felt dry. Lila drifted over. "Stop hunting," she said, quiet and urgent. "Sophie deserves a day." I answered, just as quietly. So does the truth. She swallowed, then whispered, not all truth needs to be public. The bouquet flew. My balcony camera recorded a reflection in the glass that made my stomach drop. I synced everything at my studio while the city slept. The timeline filled like a confession. 3 angles, 2 lavs, and the venue's security footage the night manager let me mirror after Lila, of all people, initialed the form with a trembling hand. Timecode never lies. I split the screen. A cam on vows, B cam on toasts, balcony cam on the mezzanine door. When A cam captured Sophie's vows at 17 hours 12 minutes and 14 seconds, balcony cam showed Daniel's hand on someone's shoulder at 17 hours 12 minutes and 17 seconds, a beat late, but damning in human tempo. Audio peaks from Daniel's hot mic matched the clink of a cufflink against the balcony rail. Venue footage showed a keycard swipe at the roof terrace door, 16 hours 59 minutes and 31 seconds. Then again at 17 hours 11 minutes and 58 seconds. The card number matched the hotel sleeve from the bouquet box. I interviewed the DJ by text. Did anyone ask you to kill Channel 3? Yes, he wrote. A groomsman with a folded place card, Marcus. The florist sent me a photo of the seating chart before the family member moved pins. The driver replied to my late-night question about airport runs. One last-minute pickup at 22:05. No name, cash. Timestamps didn't like each other. The pattern repeated. Balcony visits, missing minutes, then smiles as if the building were a stage that couldn't read. I put markers on the sequence. M2, hand on shoulder. M3, roof swipe. M4, whispered deadline. My cursor hovered over 17 hours 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Then Lila called me at 2:08 a.m. and said 5 words I did not expect. The betrayal isn't what you think, Lila said, voice paper thin. She asked to meet at my studio. No makeup, hoodie up, eyes splotchy. Play it, she said, and I pressed spacebar. The balcony shot rolled. The reflection captured Daniel leaning close to Lila. Not Sophie, not a stranger, Lila. He whispered, we're square after tonight, then pushed an envelope into her hand. It's not an affair, she said, not defensive, just tired. It's a payoff. I stared. For what? She rubbed her temples. To keep quiet about something that would void their license. Immigration fraud? Inheritance scheme? Papers, she said, and the word hung like fog. Before he met Sophie, Daniel married someone overseas for a fee. He swore it ended. It didn't. If I file what I found, this wedding might not be legal. I asked why she didn't tell Sophie. Because she loves him, Lila said, and I tasted iron. Because she saved him since college, and I am tired. She slid a USB across my desk. On it, a scan of a wire transfer, a blurry text confirming dates, a photo of a stamped passport page. The stakes yawned upward. Exposure could trigger immigration review and void the day. So what now? I asked. I thought paying me would keep me from telling anyone, she said, choking. But I couldn't keep it from you. My phone buzzed. The caller ID read Attorney Patel. We need to talk about your contract. Attorney Patel said, voice careful as a tightrope. She represented the venue, not the couple, and she spoke like a person who had read every word I'd ever written. Your agreement allows you to retain archival copies, she said. But distributing raw audio without consent is risky. I replied, I don't distribute raw. I verify truth. She asked if anyone had requested alterations. I forwarded the emails about no raw deliverables and the law firm letterhead. Not enforceable without signatures, she said. Still, be prudent. I told her about the swapped card, the burner phone, the balcony reflection. Chain of custody? She asked. I sent the serials and timestamps I'd logged like a nervous monk. Schedule a controlled screening, she advised. Invite bride and groom. Include a witness. Record the viewing. Keep a neutral tone. She paused. Do not publish. Let them decide first. After we hung up, I screen recorded my metadata pane. Creation times, card IDs, file names. I overlaid timecode and created a silent track with captions for clarity, the way older viewers appreciate. I titled the sequence truth_roll_v1 and saved it to AR_proof02. I journaled, deliver pretty highlight reel or risk everything in a private showing. My bookings fed my rent, my friends fed my heart. I drafted an email to Sophie proposing a meeting with Patel present. Then Daniel texted first. We need to talk alone. No lawyers. He chose a family brunch for theater, a sunny room with eggs like clouds and knives that chimed against plates. You're overstepping, Daniel said, quiet enough for only me. Sophie hired you to make a memory, not a scandal. I kept my hands flat. I captured what happened. He leaned in. Delete it, Aria. Lila sat across, eyes on her coffee, knuckles white. I said, I don't delete truth. He smiled. Then I'll protect my wife. The word wife landed heavy, like a statement rehearsed in court. He slid a folded letter toward me. Defamation notice, draft. We'll ruin you online before lunch, he said, still smiling. Review bomb your business into dust. My chest went cold. I thought of my calendar, my overdue lens repair, the polite way bills say please. Sophie breezed in, kissed Daniel's cheek, saw our faces, and froze. What's wrong? She asked. No one answered. I almost caved then. I almost said, it's nothing, equipment hiccup, and I almost became the kind of storyteller who edits conscience out. The venue tech appeared at the host's stand, scanning the room like a person who hates delivering messages. He approached and held out a tiny drive and an evidence bag. You left something, he said. From the balcony. Daniel's smile didn't move, but his eyes did. I arranged the meeting for Tuesday at 4 p.m. in the venue's small mediation room, a space that had seen hot plates and cold wars. Present, Sophie, Daniel, Lila, Attorney Patel, the venue manager, and me. I placed the drives on the table, labeled and logged. AR_proof01, AR_proof02, and the balcony clip the tech had returned. I handed Patel a printed chain of custody sheet. We'll screen privately, she said, setting ground rules. No phones. Notes allowed. Everyone signs receipt of viewing. Sophie's hands shook as she signed. Why do we need this? She asked, voice small. Daniel answered for her. Because Aria thinks footage makes her a judge. I think footage makes me a witness, I said. I checked the projector, calibrated color, and disabled audio ducking so peaks wouldn't hide sins. Ready? Patel asked. We nodded. The room dimmed, and the first frame held a truth I could not undo. Daniel's cuff, Lila's shoulder, the envelope that changed the meaning of a vow. The audio rolled, closed caption for clarity and in language simple enough for anyone's grandmother. At 17 hours 12 minutes and 17 seconds, a whisper. We're square after tonight. I paused. There's more, I said. Patel nodded. Continue. I loaded the roof door swipes and the hotel keycard number matching the sleeve in the bouquet box. I added Lila's USB with the wire transfer. Daniel stretched his jaw like a man preparing to swallow something sharp. Then Sophie asked the question that split the air. Is this why you married me? She said. Each word pulled through a sieve. Daniel stared at the screen as if it would blink a different truth back. It's not like that, he said. Then what is it like? Lila whispered. Patel advanced the timeline to a text thread. Daniel with an international number, dates overlapping his engagement. Money first, papers second, the text read. You promised, Sophie said, voice lower, calmer, somehow worse. He turned on me. You edited this. I shook my head and played the raw clip with metadata overlay. File tree visible, time of day in the corner like a clock that doesn't care whom it hurts. The motive unfolded. The overseas spouse demanding the final installment to file a dissolution after the wedding. A payoff time to keep two storylines from colliding on a roof. I was ending it, Daniel said. I was protecting you. By lying through vows? Sophie asked. The venue manager exhaled like a radiator. This room hears a lot, she said quietly. A chair scraped. Daniel stood. Lila stood too. The envelope, creased, tired, sat in the center like a small god. Daniel reached for the hard drive. My hand got there first. Patel's hand, actually, light but immovable, landed on Daniel's wrist. Sit, she said, and the word had the weight of granite. We'll note threats to evidence. The fallout started before the projector cooled. Daniel's family lawyer emailed a cease and desist. My inbox chimed like a guilty chorus. A relative posted a vague status online about predatory vendors, and my business account collected 3 one-star reviews in 30 minutes. I called my bank to confirm that the cash in the envelope didn't match the final transfer terms. It didn't. The venue sent me a retainer dispute notice, pending investigation. Sophie moved to her sister's house that night, taking only her plants and a dress she wanted to burn but couldn't afford to. Lila slept on my couch, crying and apologizing between breaths for making it worse and making it true. I returned my next day inquiries with clipped, gentle honesty. Yes, I have archival copies. No, I won't publish. Yes, I will cooperate with lawful requests. A client asked if drama follows you, and I answered, no, I follow facts. My calendar looked thinner than a promise. Then, at 11:19 p.m., an unknown number texted a single sentence that pinned me to my chair. Thank you for not deleting, Sophie wrote. She'd spoken to an immigration attorney who used words like good faith reliance and material misrepresentation in patient, careful English. We met for tea in a quiet back booth. I need boundaries, I said, before she could ask for anything I'd later resent. No raw to anyone but counsel, no social posting, and all requests in writing. She nodded, exhausted, relieved, brave. Can you clip a private reel for me? She asked. Something honest that shows what was real before it wasn't. I said yes, with conditions in writing. Therapy began, hers, mine, Lila's. I tightened my contracts. Explicit chain of custody sections, a clause about attempts to bribe or tamper, a clear no edits to truth rule. I added a consent talk to my pre-wedding checklists. Cameras are witnesses, not accomplices. Bookings dipped, then trickled back from couples who wanted real, not fairy dust. A week later, the venue tech slid me a kind smile and a maintenance keychain with a tiny engraved word, steady. I hung it by my desk. I color graded the footage with clean whites and honest shadows, and stopped 3 times to cry. Then Daniel's lawyer requested a meeting without Sophie. I didn't go alone. Patel came, steady as the keychain, and the venue manager sat in as a neutral. The lawyer asked for a cooperative solution. I offered one, a sealed copy to counsel, one to Sophie, one retained under my contract, and a written agreement that no one would accuse me of defamation for recording reality. He sighed like a balloon losing patience. You've cost him everything, he said. Patel corrected him. He spent it. I thought about the day I first learned to white balance. How truth depends on calibration, how eyes lie when light lies. I delivered Sophie's private reel on a drive labeled Candor, with captions that read like a letter to her future self. You were loved by many in that room. The camera proves it. She texted a photo weeks later, her plants on a new windowsill, sunlight correcting itself across the leaves. I can breathe, she wrote. Here's all I learned. Privacy isn't secrecy, and love without honesty is just an expensive performance. If you're recording life's biggest days, write your contracts in plain words, label your drives like medicine, log every timestamp, and never mute a truth that needs air. And when a balcony blinks, press record and keep your hands steady.